Hey guys, so today I'm making my what seemed to be my most liked and viewed video on this channel, garlic knot stuffed crust pizza. I know it's a mouthful, and indeed it is, physically. The pizza is super delicious. The stuffed garlic knots, quote unquote garlic knots, are super delicious as well. So you get your pizza and your garlic knot, and they're stuffed with cheese all together all at once. So let's get started with this recipe. Alright, you guys, to get started, we're going to use 1.5 cup of very warm water. You want to keep the water temp under 110 degrees. If it's too hot, it can kill the yeast. Okay, yeast is a bacteria. So yeah. All right, I'm using instant yeast or fast acting yeast. If you're using active yeast, you're going to have to wait the 10 minutes when you put it in the water to activate. I just added in 1 teaspoon of sugar. So we have 1.5 cup of warm water, 1 teaspoon of sugar, and 1 tablespoon of instant yeast or active yeast. Again, if you're using active, put it in the water, and then you just wait 10 to 15 minutes till it becomes frothy, and then you can add in your flour. I'm using 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. You can use any flour brand that you like or that you can afford. I'm not judging you, okay, but all-purpose flour. You do not need a mixer to mix this dough. You can use a wood spoon or a spatula. I have many videos that I've uploaded in the last year or so using wood spoons or spatulas to mix my dough, so you can definitely use wood spoon or spatula. I decided to add in my 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. This is the type of olive oil that becomes cloudy when it's cold in the house or becomes almost like a solid in the fridge. So if you don't have this, that's fine. Use whatever olive oil that you have available. I just wanted to let you know that's why it has that like thick texture like that. So we're going to mix this for about 5 to 7 minutes. Let it build up some gluten, and while it's mixing, I'm gonna add in my 1.5 teaspoons of salt. This is to give our dough, our pizza crust flavor. Okay. So the ingredients is 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 cup of warm water, 1 tablespoon of active or instant dry yeast, 1 teaspoon sugar, 1.5 teaspoons salt, okay, and 2 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil. Once we have everything mixed together and it looks like this, is going to be a very soft dough. You can take a scraper or your spatula and try to get it in the center. I'm not going to add oil in the bowl. Once I'm done with getting it together and forming a dough ball, I'm just going to cover it with a clear cover or a pot cover or plastic. If you want to use that, it's totally up to you, and let that rise for about 45 minutes. That time depends on the temperature in your home. It could be colder, it'll take longer. If it's warmer, it'll go really fast. For the sauce, I'm using 1.5 cups to 2 cups of marinara sauce. I'm putting this in a pot and reducing it and just adding in about a tablespoon's worth of dry oregano. I love the way dry oregano tastes in marinara. That's already pre-made. It just gives it this extra like a little extra something. All right, and just reducing it and making it into a paste. So the time that it takes for the dough to rise, I'm getting my proteins ready so they'll be nice and fresh for when the dough is ready to spread out. All right, so I'm using sweet Italian sausage. That sausage was on sale. I'm not using the whole thing. I ended up using 1/3 of it. My daughter is grating the mozzarella cheese, and I will be cutting up the cheese sticks. These are mozzarella, whole milk mozzarella cheese sticks. You can use part skim, whatever, fat free, whatever it is that you like. As far as your cheese goes, to stuff the garlic knot portion of the pizza. Okay, usually I cut these about in like a 1 inch size. I decided to cut them a little bit bigger this year. I was a little nervous, but I was like, I'll make it fit. Okay, the sweet sausage is almost done, but still needs a little bit time, so I ended up covering it after it browned on both sides to kind of get that steam going to fully cook it. And I also had bacon going in the air fryer. Now that our dough has risen, I'm gonna add some cornmeal to my pizza baking pan tray. Okay, I have had this pan for years. That's why it looks like that. I will never scrub that off. Okay, that helps with the non-stickness, okay? All right, so I just add some cornmeal on there and removed it from the countertop, and then added some flour on top of the cornmeal that was left behind, and dumped out my dough. You want the dough to double in size. If it has doubled in size, after you've mixed it, you're ready to go. Okay, double in size is perfectly fine, and then you can start spreading out your dough to form or get your pizza ready. Okay, I know the lighting here looks a little weird, is because the saturation, the exposure went up so high, so I had to kind of reduce it a bit in editing stages to kind of not make it so bright. And I know I have my ring on. I completely forgot to take it off. I did promise my husband that I wasn't going to use this while cooking. I honestly forgot. Okay, all right, so after I've kind of spread out my pizza dough a bit, just big enough, I'm going to transfer it onto my pizza baking pan, and then I'm going to continue stretching this out and putting it over the edges. I like pizza with a thinner crust now more than ever. I don't like too much bread on the crust, so I like it thinner. I like a lot of toppings, so that's what I'm going for. But if you like thicker crust, you can definitely make this a smaller pizza and not stretch it out as much. Okay, the reason why we're stretching it out and over the edges of the pizza pan is because that's going to be used to create our garlic knot stuffed crust pizza crust. All right, so this is simply what I do. I just cut a section, and I will roll my cheese in the large middle section, and then use the two side sections, the two side pieces, to create an X kind of design over it. Okay, so I put my cheese in there. I'll kind of like pull the dough apart. Make sure your fingers are floured when doing this, because it could be sticky. And then take one piece, put it over, kind of put it in place, and then take the other piece. If it goes back to sticking to the other piece, just use the scissors or whatever you have to cut it back and put it over, and we're creating that X shape over there to kind of give us like a fake looking garlic knot. Okay, it's just a design. It's just a design. I'm not saying it's a real garlic knot, but that's what I'm calling it. Okay, that's what I'm calling. That's what I called it about 10 years ago, and that's when was it 10 years ago? When did I post that video? I think I posted that video, I want to say 2014, 2015, around that time, I think. All right, so yeah. All right, so as you guys could see, doing the same thing around the whole crust, and I'm gonna let you watch this whole part and put just a little soft music so you can see what I'm doing. All right, you guys, while forming the garlic knot stuffed crust, little pockets of heaven, make sure you press down in between them. So you see how I'm lining them up, and then I'll take my pointer finger and press down in between them to just seal them shut so that the cheese doesn't flow out. Alright, you guys, so now that we have our garlic knot stuffed crust made, I'm going to season this salted melted butter, or melted salted butter, with a little bit of parsley and garlic powder. Okay, I used about 4 tablespoons to 6 tablespoons worth of butter. This is completely up to you how much butter you want to use. Okay, and look at our marinara sauce. It is now more of like a paste consistency. This is what I mean when I want to reduce the water. This is going to keep your crust from being soggy and watery and soft. So now we're going to spread it on. Okay, and my kids like sauce We like sauce, we just don't like soggy pizza, okay? And you're gonna spread this on all over. And the amount of sauce is completely up to you. You know, like I said, my kids like sauce. If you prefer less sauce, you could do a thin layer. If you prefer like a, I guess, you know, a normal amount, you can do like what I have here, or you can definitely add way, way more, okay? But as you guys could see, I'm pushing the sauce up all the way to the edge of the inside part of the crust of the garlic knot stuffed crust. Okay, now we're going to spread our freshly grated mozzarella cheese. You can use pre-shredded, that is completely up to you. If that's what's on sale, you get that. Okay, don't let nobody in the internet you know, bully you into not getting what you can afford. Get what you can afford. Okay, so for pepperoni, if you like a lot of pepperoni, you're gonna love this. If you don't, you're not. My kids love pepperoni, so I tried my best to cover every inch of the surface of this pizza with pepperoni. I don't even know how many I used. You could count it if you like. If you're if you're into that, you could count it. But I added a lot of pepperoni. Okay, I don't think most restaurants give you this much pepperoni when you order a meat lover's pizza. Okay, so I added my sweet sausage, and I also chopped up my bacon and added my bacon. Protein is completely your choice. You don't even have to add protein. You could do sauce and cheese and the pizza will still be amazing and delicious. Okay, now we're going to spread on our seasoned butter with garlic and parsley onto our stuffed crust. Okay, so we're gonna add it onto our stuffed crust, garlic knot crust, whatever you want to call it, before we bake it. Make sure while you're doing this, your oven is already preheating to 500 degrees. This pizza is going to bake for 15 minutes on 500 degrees, okay, Fahrenheit. All right, so as you guys can see, I'm putting the butter everywhere. I'm sorry it's dripping. I know someone's gonna be like, oh my god. I know, butter is expensive, I know. Promise you, I know. I have 4 kids and grocery shopping now has become like, ugh, I hate it. I hate it. All right, so put your pizza in 500 degrees for 15 minutes, and this is the result of all that hard work, all the dough mixing if you did it by hand, the cheese grating if you did it by hand. This is the result. Doesn't she look pretty? And look at how the garlic knot stuffed crust puffed up beautifully, you guys. Golden brown. All that hard work paid off. And I know some of you probably, when you make this, you're going to be like, this doesn't look right, this is not going to come out right. I promise you it will. And if you have your kids help, it will be the best pizza that you bake together. Now we're going to brush on some of our leftover garlic butter to the crust. Okay, this is going to give it that extra that like and like, oh mom, this is delicious, this is the best. Okay, and when your kids say that, just be like, I learned it from Miss Queenie. A lot of my friends, like their kids, like, you know, they call me Miss Queenie. Or if the kids want to eat something, they're like, tell Miss Queenie, she'll make it for you. So they, you know, give me my little props, you know, like, yes, Miss Queenie taught me. Yeah. I'm joking, but I'm not. All right. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give this a thumbs up. I truly hope you enjoyed this video with your family. I hope you impress them. I hope you make their day. You know, it is a blessing to have, you know, a parent that cooks for their kids and is at home. You know, even if you're a working parent, you come home, you work, come home and make your kids something special. You know, they'll remember that. Okay, they will remember that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and I'll see you very soon, actually, in a couple of other videos I have planned for you guys. Okay, all right, love you, bye.